Hey yo, and what is up, gang? Thank you so much for tuning back into the channel again today as we have some incredible breaking news. We just reported yesterday that the WWE was thinking about bringing back some WCW themed type events to programming in the near future, and the near future is already here as they have announced a very special edition of SmackDown will be known as WWE Starrcade, and we are going to talk about that right here and right now on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Let's do this.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
Alright, wrestling fans, here we go again. Thank you so much for joining me again here today. My name is Nick Nightmare. This, as always, is the World Heavyweight Champion of microphones, Blue the Snowball Microphone, and we are here to talk about something that is going to be tremendously fun to talk about: the fact that the WWE is going to actually hold a Starrcade event, and it is not without some very big problems. As always, if you come to this show, you know I always got a problem with something, and we are going to highlight, in fact, what my problem with this is, as you might already be able to guess if you feel the same way as I do. But before we get into all that, let's get started with talking about how all of this got blown up on social media, and it's only being blown up even further with the speculation that's going on. So, earlier today, the WWE announced that the November 25th SmackDown Live event from Greensboro, North Carolina, will be a special Starrcade event. Starrcade, of course, being the annual WCW pay-per-view that ran from 1983 to the year 2000 before they closed their doors. Here's where things get a little bit interesting. Upon hearing the news of the WWE resurrecting the event created by the late American Dream Dusty Rhodes, Dusty's son and current Ring of Honor champion Cody Rhodes called upon WWE official Michael Hayes to honor Dusty Rhodes by featuring his brother Goldust on the card. Here is what the tweet said, and I quote, Dear Michael P.S. Hayes, if you're afraid an event won't sell 'cause the holiday and want one of my dad's events, at least book Cody. A decent request. If you're going to have a show that my father created be taking place, why not have my older brother at least have a spot on the card? Very fairly decent request, I think. I don't see anything wrong with that. Michael Hayes has since responded to Cody, offering him an opportunity to team with his brother Goldust. While it's very unlikely that Cody will be gracing a WWE ring anytime soon, there would be some poetic justice to the Rhodes brothers teaming together one more time in a venue and at an event that holds such rich history for the Rhodes family. Here is the tweet from Michael Hayes. So, Cody, you are right. We should have Goldie on the show. By the way, what are you doing that night? Want to team with your brother? And that's the end of the tweet. Very cryptic indeed. And I just cannot wait to see how this plays out. The possibilities that arise with an incoming Starrcade and this potential scenario in particular just absolutely titillates me. Let's go to the newsroom real quick. We are talking about Starrcade right now, but more importantly, we are talking about the possibility of this being the biggest attraction of Starrcade. Dustin Rhodes, Goldust, has been tweeting out, following all this back and forth on Twitter, and this picture showed up. And they want to make this happen. And if I could right now reach out to Cody Rhodes and beg him, please, one night only, bro, just do it. Do it for your dad. Do it for the family. Come out. There's not going to be any titles on the line. Hopefully they don't try to strong-arm him into really signing with the company to be a part of this thing, but just let him do it. Let's have a one-off match. Let's have this tag team match take place. This would be absolutely fantastic. A little bit eerie for me is in the show that I did yesterday, where we talked about the possibility of the WCW pay-per-views coming back to the WWE programming in my Bobby Heenan tribute video that was up yesterday. I said there would be no better place for the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes to return to the WWE than at Starrcade. And then 24 hours later, we have this story drop, and all these rumors are starting to run rampant, and it's making me absolutely crazy. So before we go on all these little tangents and see how a match like this could really blow the doors off of the world of professional wrestling, taking place at a Starrcade held by the WWE, the Ring of Honor champion, maybe still at that time, coming over to wrestle in this particular scenario. Ring of Honor and the WWE do have a particular working relationship still. I don't know how that involves talent trades or anything like that, but look at this picture, guys. Look at this picture with the Starrcade logo. That's the one thing I love the most about the internet, is you guys are on the ball, man. There is somebody that gets a little whiff of something, and before you even have time to digest the news, there's photos and memes and videos and images, and it's absolutely crazy. And to come across this just got me going, and we had to come here and report this and get going on this story before it really hits the wire and everybody really gains traction on it tomorrow. It's just an amazing thing. And here's a warning for you guys as we go back to the main screen. We got some spoilers coming up, and I did not mean to read these spoilers, but I got so caught up that I just kept going down the article, and there is a potential card for Starrcade on this November 25th show, and we are going to go over it right here and right now. So, as a courtesy to you guys, my fans, if you do not want to know what is going to be happening over the potential course of the next few weeks, as it pertains to the events that are being scheduled for this, then you should probably not finish this video. And that's okay. I love you for being here up until this point. I appreciate people that don't like to be spoiled. I don't like to be spoiled. But I unintentionally spoiled myself with my curiosity about the Starrcade Starrcade event coming up. And you know what? Before we do the spoilers, before you guys check out, if you're leaving me for the spoilers, let's just talk about my one big disappointment, and that is because it is not actually being held as a pay-per-view event. It's going to fall into the lines of the Sin City SmackDown and that other special SmackDown they had last year. Like, it's just going to be a special weekly installment of a normally regular SmackDown, where an event like Starrcade should really be given some prestige, some grandeur. Throw it as a pay-per-view, replace like an Armageddon or something stupid like that. Obviously, you cannot replace the Survivor Series with Starrcade, and I think that they're just dropping the ball a little bit on that one. Maybe they're testing the waters. You know, maybe if they get a real big turnout ratings-wise for the SmackDown Starrcade special, they will start to hold it as a pay-per-view. Maybe they're just getting their feet wet, seeing what the temperature is in the fan base for that type of thing. I think it's going to be great, and I hope that they actually do that and start bringing back pay-per-views. I want a Halloween Havoc, damn it. And I want to see a War Games again. A War Games with the current crop of talent that we have would be absolutely fantastic. So let's get moving on these things. Obviously, we have gotten the ball rolling, at least in the right direction somewhat, because we do have a WWF Starrcade. And to answer a question to one of my subscribers, Tony had asked me on a previous video if I think that them having Starrcade and WCW branding on certain pay-per-views will lead to a WCW brand for the WWF. And I'm going to tell you right now, unequivocally, that will never happen. And just the logo, which we had up here before for Starrcade, is proof of that alone. It's not going to be a WCW brand. It's going to just be a WWE Starrcade. And they will do the same thing with anything that follows suit. It'll be WWE Halloween Havoc, WWE Great American Bash, which we've seen before, WWE everything. It's theirs. It's their property now. They will not make another brand exclusively to run shows like Starrcade and things like that when they can use it on the main show. So I very, very, very highly doubt it. I think it's almost one of the certain things you could put money on. There will never be another WCW brand of wrestling. And if I'm ever made to eat my words, then God bless them, because I love wrestling, and the more wrestling, the better. It doesn't matter to me. As long as it's in the right hands and we're getting good stuff, it'll be just fine. But I really, really doubt that, Mr. Tony Manfredi. And I appreciate your questions and your feedback, and I invite everybody else to follow suit and leave any questions or comments you have on anything we're talking about here, and to go back and watch everything else and leave your comments there as well. So let's get into the spoiler part of this show, and I'm going to give you a little countdown right now in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You have been warned. Here we go. So, Starrcade is back. North Carolina's Greensboro Coliseum, which was the host of the first ever Starrcade back in 1983, as an homage to the main event of the first Starrcade, which featured Ric Flair and Harley Race in a steel cage. WWE Starrcade will feature 2 steel cage match main events. The first one being slated WWE Champion Jinder Mahal versus Shinsuke Nakamura, which makes me want to throw up in my mouth. That definitely leads us to believe that Nakamura is not going to win at No Mercy. They are going to continue on this Jinder Mahal rabbit hole and just make us go further and further deeper into the dark depths of this fucking story that it's going to go on up until and through the month of November. So everybody buckle down and strap in, because that just sucks. And let's hope that, you know, the card is always subject to change. So we can hope that that definitely is the case here. This next one, which I'm just reading now for the first time, just gave me chills as well. Because another match that I said should happen at the WWE Starrcade is this very match that's happening right now. I didn't put it in a steel cage. I just put Asuka at ringside to watch the whole thing. But we will have a SmackDown Women's Championship match with Natalya versus Charlotte Flair. You cannot have Starrcade without somebody named Flair in a championship match, and there they got it absolutely right. The downside, I shouldn't call it a downside, but the surprising thing of this whole thing is that, much like we just said about Jinder Mahal, the current SmackDown Women's Champion Natalya looks to be having a run with this title for the next at least 2 months. If that is the case, she is going to hold this belt. She is going to put it over, try to get herself over. Maybe she will come out and be a dominant champion and be somebody great. And then she will go to Starrcade and lose to Flair in the cage. Just saying that sentence was fucking fantastic. Going to Starrcade and losing to Flair in the cage. It's a beautiful sentence, and I can't wait to see that. If this is truly where they're going, I'm okay with that match. That's fantastic. Also advertised for the show, as of right now, United States Champion, still up until and through the month of November, you guys, AJ Styles will be in a triple threat match with Baron Corbin and Rusev. What can I say about that? I don't want AJ Styles to be the United States Champion. I feel it's beneath him. It's just not doing what it did when it was with John Cena. I think John Cena, we didn't want to see him as the World Heavyweight Champion, so we were happy when he relegated himself to the U.S. title and we're getting other talent over by defending it. AJ Styles needs to be the Heavyweight Champion of the world. He's the best performer on the roster right now, hands down, bar none. However else you want to say, excluding everybody, because he is the number one guy on the show. And he should be the Heavyweight Champion. And he's not. He's the U.S. Champion. Is there anything really wrong with that? No. I mean, at least he's a champion. But I feel the belt would be doing much, much better if you gave the United States Championship to Rusev. He was a great United States Champion. And much along the same lines, if they would have had Jinder Mahal this whole time as the U.S. Champion, I think it would not be as cringeworthy and it would not be bothering us as much. It would be an absolute heel heater magnet to have that belt around a foreign person. It's been a proven thing through all walks of life, all generations of wrestling. Everybody's had the villain foreigner who has eventually held a title that has meant something important to the country. So I just think that would be a better way to go about it with the U.S. title. The United States Championship, to me, is a heel title, and it shouldn't be around the waist of AJ Styles. We have a grudge match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Them two get in the ring, I'm always down to watch, and if it's going to be something the magnitude of a Starrcade, which is something that they probably hold as near and dear to their hearts as I do, they are going to throw it down, and I will never say no to Owens versus Zayn. Here's another concerning one. Tag Team Championship match will be The New Day versus the Usos. That upsets me only because that means we're going to continue to see The New Day versus the Usos long after they settle their dispute in the upcoming Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, in the Hell in a Cell match, where I thought it would be the end of that feud and that they would put it to bed, but that does not seem to be the case. Even, realistically, there's nowhere else to go with it. If you're not going to push Breezango, then there's nowhere else to go with it. The Hype Bros look like they're breaking up. What other tag team do you have on SmackDown? So, maybe it's just not their fault. They don't have anybody else to play with. It just definitely seems that way. To have this match again, 2 months from now, regardless if it's on a Starrcade or not, is just, by the time we get to Starrcade, we're going to be done with these four. And this feud has got to be over with by then. Who knows which team will be the champions, who will drop what to who the hell knows. We'll have to wait and see. And then we have this very curious match being booked right here. Will be Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler. I thought Dolph Ziggler would be gone before November. I don't think that match is going to take place. If Dolph Ziggler is still around come holiday time and he re-signs with this company, then boy, I hope they really have something big in store for him, because he is turning his back on an absolutely 100% more lucrative career by wrestling in the independents and following the blueprint laid by Cody Rhodes and going out there and becoming an even greater version of himself, and then maybe finding his way back, demanding more money and demanding to be placed where he belongs, right in the spotlight. Maybe Dolph Ziggler is the next Kenny Omega out there. He's just being handcuffed by a big corporation, and it makes you worried about when they will actually get a guy like Kenny Omega. And what they would do to him. Look what they did to Shinsuke. Look what they're doing to Joe. Look what they did to Finn. It doesn't look good for anybody that comes in from over there. We'll just have to wait and see. So those are the proposed matches up until this point right now. I'm sure the card is going to change probably 50 times over, probably 50 times that day leading up into the match. It'll probably change for all we know. I'm happy with the women's title match. It's very, very weird that I called that. It's also very weird to me that I stated Cody Rhodes should come back, and now there is absolutely an avenue open for him to do so, which is something I never thought I would even see it get that close. But right now it's being mulled around, it's being talked about, and if I know Goldust, I think he's going to try to talk his brother into doing this, and I don't think it's going to be that difficult to get Cody to come just to do this in honor of his dad. It would be a no-brainer to do it. It would make it even more special. It would make it fucking great, and I want to see it so bad. It's going to be something special. Plus, there will also be appearances by the Hardy Boys and WWE Hall of Famers, the Rock and Roll Express, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Those three have had so many Starrcade moments, it almost does no justice to start naming one and not the other, because they were all quality. Back then, when these guys were throwing it down for WCW, they were actually the NWA at the time, and Starrcade was happening, and these were the best in the business back then. You know, the WWE was mainstream, the WCW was the wrestling show. It's almost the same thing that you got right now between Raw and NXT and SmackDown. You got the main roster, they're the mainstream thing, and then you got NXT, which is the wrestling show. For the longest time, at least in my childhood, WCW/NWA, AWA, those promotions, that was wrestling, you know, and WWF was the WWF, and it was wrestling too, but it was not as real to me anyway as these other promotions. And to remember Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and some of those matches he had with Flair and so many different Starrcade moments with Vader, who I will be meeting in just a couple of weeks at an upcoming House of Glory show at the Elks Lodge in Queens. Don't forget to get your tickets to that if you have not done so already, and meet me down there. Come say hello. Maybe I'll have a t-shirt for you. Just let me know you're coming ahead of time. And the possibilities are endless. If this goes well, which is all I really hope, I hope that whatever it is that they're planning with this Starrcade is booked good, and that it does go much better than the current SmackDowns that we've been getting. It definitely will bring so much attention to it just by calling it Starrcade. You're not doing a Clash of Champions like you did last year. Clash of Champions was a throwaway thing that WCW used to do. It was a very it was like a B-show Nitro. You know what I mean? Clash of Champions was their SmackDown in a way. So by throwing that, it's not really that special to me. You know, well, that was up until they made Thunder, which was just the worst wrestling show ever. So I don't even really count that. Clash of Champions was always somewhat special, even towards the end, and it felt like that was their second biggest television show, even though it wasn't available on a weekly basis. But to do Starrcade opens the door to bring in Fall Brawl, to bring in Bash at the Beach, to bring in Halloween Havoc, to bring in any of these names you want, and just do it. We're going to have Monday Night Raw Halloween Havoc. I'll take it. You know, whatever. Let's just bring these things back. They were emblazoned in our minds and in our childhoods and in our soul. I mean, you have them in the WWE 2K games. People have the Halloween Havoc arena just because we want to come out at Halloween Havoc. It's a nostalgic thing. It's a holiday thing. It's very kid-friendly. I don't understand why they haven't pulled it out of the bag before. The same holds true with all these other events. Everything is just going to make me, on the inside, super, super happy if they continue this trend and do this. I would much rather them be actual pay-per-views and held on a Sunday in lieu of Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Like I said on the show yesterday, imagine we had Starrcade, right? Every December. And at Starrcade we had Money in the Bank. Or since Starrcade is a cage match kind of thing, have the Hell in a Cell once a year at Starrcade. Why not change it up? Who cares that it used to be a WCW thing? It's yours now. It has meaning. It has prestige. Let's use it. They're going to do so. Let's wish them the best. And let's hope even harder that we get to see Cody Rhodes at this event. I think it would just absolutely turn this wrestling world on its ears. And if they could do whatever they can to keep it a secret, would be fucking fantastic. I just hope that it's all as good as I'm expecting, because all my excitement and all the smiliness that you see in my face right now could definitely turn into a regular Monday Night Raw or SmackDown style face like this. You know, so we'll just have to wait and see. But we're staying positive. We're staying New Day about it. We're staying optimistic. Power positivity. Running on it right now. Thank you guys so much for joining us here today. Don't forget to check out Clutch Chairs. Down in the link below. Click the link. Check the chairs. Check the desks. Look around. Click the X. See you later. Don't spend a dime. Don't have to do nothing. Unless you really want one of those beautiful WWE themed chairs, because they are really out of this world. I just saw Bayley tweeted a picture of herself in her Macho Man Randy Savage one, which I thought was friggin' great. She's got a Randy Savage chair. She's sitting in it. She hopes to have one of her own one day. Maybe you need to get over a little better on the main roster, and they'll make you a wonderful little chair, Miss Huggies. That's gonna do it, you guys. Thank you so much. Don't forget to hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you're not part of the Sledgehammer Club already. And don't forget to ring-a-ding-ding that little dingity bell to make sure you get up-to-date and right to the second news every single time a video drops right here on Sledgehammer TV. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones, Blue the Snowball Microphone, and we are out of here. And we will see you next time right here on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Can't wait to cover Starrcade. Unbelievable. We'll see you next time.